My name is Desiree Bouchard. I do a variety of things here at Great Lakes. I do all of the social media. If you call, I'm probably the one that you talk to on the phone. I've begun helping Jeremy on all of his designs, and whatever else I can do to help people here around the office, I always try and help out wherever I can. I take photos of our finished jobs. I've been working here for coming up on my 1-year anniversary in just a couple of weeks, and I love it. How I got into the landscape business was kind of by chance. My previous employers sold the company I was working for, and Ivan, when he found out I was available, wanted me to come in for an interview, and actually ended up hiring me that day, and I started the next day, and the rest is history. I've learned a lot. I can actually recognize plants now, which I could never do before, and I pay a lot more attention to landscapes and probably a little more judgmental about landscapes, because I think that a lot of the work that we do is on a higher par than a lot of things that I see generally. As far as my personal interests go, I love photography. That's actually what I went to school for. I got an associate's degree in photography. I work for an event company on the weekends, also doing photography at a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs. I've been to hundreds of bar and bat mitzvahs. I've probably been to more bar and bat mitzvahs than any Jewish person I've ever met. I love watching wrestling. I love going to wrestling events. Indie events are my favorites, just little local small wrestling events. I actually considered going to wrestling school. I got all the information. I found a wrestling school. Then I decided that I guess my bones and my body was more important than trying to become a wrestler. I love crafting. I love making things. Most of the things that are hanging on my walls in my apartment are things that I've made or photos that I've taken. I just moved, so I love decorating and rearranging things and finding new places for all of my stuff. I love camping, the outdoors in general. I love being outside. I absolutely love the UP. Crossing the bridge is one of the best feelings, I think. Just seeing the change in the terrain when you cross over that bridge is just one of the best feelings to me. I love my family. They're a big interest for me. I come from a huge family. I'm the youngest of 8. I have 15 nieces and nephews, so family gatherings for us are exciting to say the least. Never a dull moment with my family, that's for sure. I love movies. I love horror movies. Probably most of the movies I own are 80s horror movies. They're just so ridiculous that I love watching them. As far as my 5 favorite things go, I recently got engaged, so he's not necessarily an item or a thing, but my fiance is most definitely the top of my list, my favorite things, as well as my tiny little dog, Miss Yvonne. She's the sweetest face ever. My current camera that I own is my favorite camera I've ever owned. I love it so much. Oh, and I love boots. Honestly, I don't even know how many pairs of boots that I own. They're my favorite footwear. I usually wear them even in the summer. I'm not a shoe person, I'm just a boot person. Another one of my favorite things has to be my shelf of random stuff. Just a collection of old cameras, books, various items I've picked up in my travels, or items that were given to me, just the most random things you can think of. You could look at it for hours and not stop having things to look at. The craziest request I've ever gotten since working at Great Lakes was, I think, it wasn't a client of ours, but someone called in, a prospective client, I guess, and they were wondering about a fall cleanup, and they were also wondering if, in addition to cleaning up the leaves that were on the ground, if we could somehow get the leaves that were still in the trees down and include that in our cleanup. So obviously the answer was no, because, you know, you have to let nature take its course, but I think that's the craziest request I've personally ever received.